Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's me, Tabasa, again with another video. And I posted the video I was going to make for tomorrow right now because I wanted to make this video right after the one I posted. And that is because of the huge juxtaposition, I guess, change in my week. And that's what I'm kind of going to go over in this video. I have gum in my mouth, so if you hear me chewing from my mic, if you're not into ASMR, I'm sorry, but if you are, maybe this is like a trigger for you or something. I don't know. So, this is my first ever entry that's not written down. And I think part of it is just because right now it's so fresh in my mind. I just kind of want to talk about it. And this had to do with the whole change in attitude coming out of this week and how I feel like I was able to change my attitude from being very sad and mentally not in a good state into something where I'm more positive and outward looking. Because for me, at least, I've always experienced this where it's just kind of like a flip between the two, and I have no clue what's causing it, and I have no clue why it happens. So let's start out with Monday and Tuesday real quick, and even before then. So, like the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, kind of the beginning of the week. And I had been super down. I was not happy. My sleep schedule was okay. And I had just made the video of I'm not happy, or I'm just not happy. And I also made the one that I is just posted, which is the I'm a boring person one. And the I'm just not happy one did get some traction. And I did read a lot of the comments, and they did kind of help me when it went out on Wednesday to look at things differently. So that was one of the things. One of the commenters said that I need to stop kind of like internalizing and just being in my own head and try to see myself almost as if I was in third person. It may not be verbatim of what they were recommending, but that's kind of how I took it. And I did think about it because the night before, on Tuesday night, I'd gotten really mad when I was playing video games. And it's happened a little bit more in every now and again. I'm not too happy about it because it's just like arguments with my friends of like what we should have done strategic wise. I'll get to that later or never. We'll see. Anyway, the game wasn't being too hot. We were having some pretty bad games. And my roommate always likes to go to bed at 12 o'clock or midnight. And I always know this. I've tried to be my best to get done at it. But when I get mad at my video games, I really try to go for one more game to win because it's gambling. It's gambling, guys. I love it. I'm joking. But I do try and play more games in order to not go to bed on like a bad note. Because I don't think anyone wants to leave on a bad note whenever they're doing something. However, my roommate had come up and I was very furious. And what I did was I queued into another game, and he's like, "Can you please go to bed? I'm very tired. Or please get off. I'm very tired." To which I kind of just stood there and waited for the queue to get us into another game. And part of the reason I didn't do anything was because I was just purely mad, and I was really trying to like calm myself. But another one was also just I wanted to get the other game in. And obviously we got into the next game. He got mad, went down the stairs, and then I obviously, because I made him mad, felt disappointed in myself despite it being my own decision. I played the game. We only got like third or something. It sucked. But the next day, when the video got posted, I read the comment of thinking about it in a third person, and on my walk home from campus, I had thought about how my roommate has every reason to be mad at me. Like, if I'm the one in his shoes and he's, really tired and I'm obviously sitting there not doing anything, I thought to myself, okay, if I'm a stranger looking at this situation, what am I labeling this person who's sitting waiting for a cue to start in a video game? And I came up with a couple things. I said, okay, this person is disrespectful because they don't care about their roommate's sleep schedule. They don't care at all. They are very mad and angry as a person. They are, in a way, impatient. And so I started listing these things off, and I realized that in that situation, I should have just listened to my roommate. Now, the strange cop out of this is that he actually didn't go to bed until 2 because the winds were just like blowing against our building, causing a lot of noise. But that still, I feel like, doesn't give me an excuse of like, oh, that was okay to do. And an excuse I came up with in my head was he tells me that he wants to go to bed at 12, but he doesn't get ready until I get off. And for me, that bothers me, because if I'm in his shoes, what I would do is I would get ready. That way, when the other person gets off and gets done doing their stuff, I'm already in bed, ready to sleep. And it's just a difference of ideologies, I guess, or how they want to go about things. And personally, to me, when I was thinking about the argument in my head, it would be like, show me that I am the one to be held accountable for making you go to late bed, because sitting there not doing anything until I get off kind of makes it feel like it's okay, despite it not being. Anyway, that was the Tuesday. It's still not doing too hot. Wednesday comes around, for the most part, I'm not doing too hot. But then, the video drops of I'm just not happy. I get some comments, and I told you, I look on myself like that in the third person. But another thing that came around was church. Now, for those of you who don't know, I don't really go to church like all the time, but I do obviously for the big events such as Lent, Ash Wednesday, Christmas, Easter, those kinds of things. And I do go every once in a while when I have the time or feel like it, because I do think it's a bit therapeutic to just go and listen to stories that have a lesson in some way or another, or see how the priest can relate a story that he's interpreted and make you think about it in a specific way or in a different light. And so I go to Lent, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, what do I want to give up for Lent? Because in Lent, for those of you who don't know, for 40 days, we are supposed to be giving up something. And that is to replicate Jesus for 40 days, something I forgot. I'm reading the Bible. I haven't read a lot of it yet. I'm still in Exodus. It's been a long time. Haven't gotten a lot of time to read because of school, but and because of my addiction to video games, which I could cut that out, But the whole idea is to give something up. And I couldn't think of something at the time to give up. And then eventually I thought about it while I was in church. And it was to give up my impatience, if you will. It's a little hard to explain, I feel like, but I'm a very impatient person. And I feel like I need to sometimes just listen to other people and catch myself when I'm like stopping them to talk. In other words, interrupting them. Because I kid you not. And by the way, church music it was peak. Honestly, it's like video game music. It was freaking awesome. But the very next day, I thought about this. I'm like, okay, for Lent, I want to make sure I'm giving up going or being impatient. And I'm sitting at a table with a couple of my students, and I am helping them out with their problems. And during our conversations, we talk about stuff that wasn't necessarily related to the class. I treat a lot of my students like friends because I mean we're roughly the same age. But the thing I noticed with myself while I was talking to them is sometimes they'd be talking and they get to that point of the conversation where like they finish an idea and they're about to start one and they're like, and for me I tend to cut them off, or in another way they're trying to say something and I kind of just finish the sentence for them, and it bothers me a little bit now that I'm like realizing this impatience out of me. And part of that is because it is just rude. I'm literally interrupting people. And I can see how that might be, like if I'm talking to a girl, how that can be a turnoff. Well, on a related note, it does also remind me of a video that I watched by this guy. I already forgot his name. But he talked about how silence is okay, like in a conversation. Like if you don't have anything to talk about, that's fine. It doesn't matter. And I started thinking about it, and it made me realize that I'm cutting them off to like finish their sentence when I could just remain quiet, listen to what they have to say, and then I could either respond to it or I don't even have to in any particular way. If it was just for them like a finishing thought. So that happens, and I honestly kind of feel a little bit better about myself because I'm realizing, at least at this point, like I'm at the awareness stage, right? There's the ignorance stage, there's the awareness stage, there's the execution stage, and then there's the habit, I guess, that comes out of it. And so being ignorant doesn't really help because you don't know that you're doing something that is bothering people, or in a bigger sense, bothering yourself internally. Being aware of it is like one of the biggest steps, because once you're aware of something, you start to pay attention to it a lot more, and you try to think of ways of like, okay, how can I fix this? How can I tweak it? And then the execution is, okay, now that I understand how I end up doing this thing, like taking over people's conversations, I think I can understand and catch myself before I actually do it now and start executing, not interrupting people. And then eventually the hope is that it turns into just a habit. So my mood got a little bit better because of that. And it's something for me to actually like think about legitimately, and how I'm going to better myself and kind of find myself over these next 40 days of Lent. Because that's kind of my whole goal, is to just mature and be better, because I'm sick and tired of looking at myself and being like, man, I don't have a girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sad. This work doesn't make sense. Do I like what I'm doing? Is this going to be something I want to do as a job? And it's like, you got to just kind of get those doubts out of your head and just do it, because you really don't know where you're going to end up. For me personally, I'll get a job doing something, but for me, it might just end up being that it funds my passions, and my passions ends up becoming my actual job, in which I would, like pursuing that, such as music or YouTube, or both, if they're both doing well. In the meantime, I just got to understand that I got to hunker down and I got to work. Like, I can't be so, I don't know if it's cowardly or if it's just like not confident in myself to finish, my final semester of college. That leads me to now, like, this is, all Wednesday, Thursday type stuff. Catching myself doing the whole interruption of people. And I think just overall, some of the comments, again, they really helped me think about how, I'm not the only one. I'm glad that video got some traction because I had been making a lot of videos and they didn't break 100 views. And I had one video a long time ago that broke like 1,000 views, and I was like, oh my gosh, this might be it, you know. And then the numbers slowly died down and everything. And you know, when you're on that first grind of YouTube, you're very anxious about like, okay, what's gonna blow up for my channel and how's this gonna like define my channel. And for me, it's really just talking, and it's just like, okay, what do I talk about? But at the same time, I don't want to trap myself into just being, oh, that guy who talks about XYZ. Because for me, I just really want to talk about my life, my situations, how I'm understanding it, and in essence, getting knowledge from you guys, because you guys have experiences that are different from me, and maybe you've learned something that, you know, can help me, and maybe I can do the same for you. So Thursday rolls around, and we're doing all right. I think I get into an argument with my friend again on Apex, which just sucks. The stuff that we talk about, again, it's a video game. Like who cares really? But Thursday rolls around, I'm doing fine. I feel like I have a little bit more sense in me, I guess, or I feel a lot more clear-minded. I feel a lot more productive as well. And then Friday comes around, which is today. Woo, Friday. Friday was pretty good. I had gone out with my sister to go eat and met a bunch of her like new friends, or I guess technically they were strangers because some of them didn't even know her. But yeah, that was cool. I also went to go see my friend do a dance performance, which was really cool. One of the songs that there was like a duo that went up there. They played a Ratata by Tyler, the Creator, in his album Chromacopia, which was unexpected. But I did sing every single lyric to that song, except for the ones I can't. Sorry, it's a race thing. Anyway, yeah, and now I'm here. I'm back home with the clock and the TV and the couch and my mic and the piano. You can't see the piano. I'm gonna end it there because I just remembered another thing that happened on Thursday that keeps popping up in my head, but I think it deserves its own video. So thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, because I love seeing your guys' comments. They really help out a lot. And like I said, on Wednesday, they helped me out. So any help or support for each other, even in the comments, would be nice. So see you guys later. Peace.